Oh, good morning, everybody. Yeah, this is your expected, kind of for some, unexpected for others, pop up TikTok Live on Saturday. What day is today? This is good for me. This is good for me to do this. It's Saturday, August 24th, 2024. And for the folks on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, you knew I was going to do a pop up today. And all y'all know that I tend to start these on top of the hour, as I like to say, back in my college radio days. Yeah, I just figured it helps me to have a little plan to get onto the TikTok. Now, here's a funny thing. It is 60 degrees out, and I'm feeling the changing of the season. I don't know about where you are. If you want to throw what state you're in into the comments, that's always kind of fun. Like when I'm waiting, excuse me, I'm going to pull this a little bit closer so I can read it easier. Like when I'm on a Zoom call and I'm waiting for the thing to start, people are like, chiming in from Missouri or hello. So hello, I'm Beth. I am Destination Decluttered, Decluttering Life Coach, and I am chiming in from my patio here in lovely Pennsylvania. I'm originally from Massachusetts, so once I start to get some caffeine in me and I start talking some more, because literally these are the first words I've spoken this morning, you'll probably hear my Boston accent come out. So I love it. Hey, human beings not doing Chicago here. You had a busy week in your city this week, huh? Yeah, Phoenix Rising is saying chilly here in Pittsburgh, 57 temps getting to 87 today. Now, I will say this, right before I signed on, I looked at how much, so it's 60 here, but it feels cooler because I'm in the shade, but I'm all about the 87. Okay, Julie Harris, to be expected. South Florida is going to be hot, listen to me, hot. 90-something today again. And yeah, the seasons are changing. So I will also share this right at the beginning, since we're just kind of getting started. If any of you were on the TikTok live yesterday that I did, somebody said, Beth always seems like she's in a good mood. She's always so, you're such in a good mood. And somebody said she's always in a good mood. Now, as I mentioned on that TikTok live yesterday, I try to bring my best self to these TikTok lives. I try to be articulate and do all these things, but I will share with you. Yesterday, I had kind of a rough patch of a day. I was tired, I was cranky, I was unmotivated. Some things I had planned to do didn't work out the way I had hoped. And I share this with you not to be like, oh, poor, 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 pitiful me, as the Linda Ronstadt song would say. But I share this with you because even those of us who appear cheery when you see us in this little kind of narrow window of a TikTok live, we're human. Feeling cranky and uninspired and not motivated, then frustrated because you're not inspired and motivated, and then tired, and then, whatever. That's how I was yesterday. And it's going to happen. So be okay with it, but just know it doesn't mean that the whole life is going to be like that. Every day is going to be a little bit different. Every day is going to be a little bit different, and who knows, maybe I'm giving myself a little, Tim Wall's pep talk right now. But what I did yesterday that I can look back on and feel good about is I did a whole bunch of little tiny, tiny things that were on my list. So even when I was feeling crappy, I tried to do some things. The other thing, too, I realized, and I will share this with you, and I sent out an email, so that's one of the good things that I did. I sent out an email to my mailing list, and I realized when I don't have a plan, like yesterday, the one thing I had on my calendar, or my what do I like to call it, my roadmap for the day, was to do my TikTok live, and I did it, but I didn't have anything else planned, and that allowed me to kind of kind of float around in the day going, I don't know, I've got all this time. What do I want to do? I don't know what I want to do. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I guess I'll do nothing. Now I feel crappy doing nothing. Maybe I'll take a walk. Okay, I took a walk. Now what? So I don't say you need to factor in any time, but put some markers on your day when you're not having a good day. And that might help. I'm learning about that because today I still have a fairly wide open day. I have a few things scheduled early in the day, but then the afternoon into the evening is fairly amorphous. So what I'm going to do, because it didn't feel good yesterday to just kind of be aimlessly floating. Sometimes it's fun. It didn't feel fun yesterday. So today I'm going to make myself a little bit more of a plan, a gentle plan, with some things that I want to happen, but I want to make them happen so that the day doesn't end and I'm like, wow, there goes a day, you know? So I share this with you, not to, as I said, not to get pity. Oh, poor Beth, you had a bad day. I did too. But to realize that it's going to happen to all of us, okay? So I just want to kind of put that out there. I felt this morning when I woke up, it was important to share that. But enough about me. I love the fact that Phoenix Rising is saying, perfect day for the Seven Springs Wine Festival. Now that sounds like fun. That sounds like a plan. I like that. Huh? What I want to do is help you if you're having fun today, go for it. I am all about the having of the fun. Do not get me wrong. I realized, and this might be a no-brainer to you guys, but I think one of the reasons my husband and I were able to do some decluttering in our basement last weekend is because our friends who we usually hang out with, that we have fun with, that live here in town and have a pool, and we often go over and hang out with them, or we do some fun things with our friends. Our friends were not feeling well. So we were staying at home, so we thought, oh, well, since we can't go have fun with those guys, and I'm the one who said, well, why don't we go down and clean up that stuff? Now, that was really fun. I love it. Dawn is doing some canning of tomatoes on the deck, tomato sauce on the deck. Now, here's a funny thing. When I grew up, I called them tomatoes. I was told to call them tomatoes. But yes, self-care is totally important. Here's a wonderful thing. I will share this with you too, is that because my husband and I did some decluttering over the weekend of the basement, last weekend, it has had a kind of a nice kind of, things have continued. Things have continued. During the week, I brought some stuff to the Goodwill. Today we have some things that we ran out of time. Today we have some like big items that we don't want to sell, we just want to get rid of. So we have a permanent free sign that we literally made. I literally made it like 15 plus years ago. And we're going to put some things on the corner of our lawn because we live on a fairly high traffic corner. So we have that going on. Yesterday, oh, this was cool. Good morning, Jennifer. Nice to see you. This was really cool, and I share this as something that might help you. Shredding of documents that you would like to be shredded. Now, many people like to shred their documents at their house. I prefer not to. I did it for a while, and I just didn't like the shredder. I liked that kind of feeling of satisfaction of like, oh, I'm getting this done, but it took a lot of time. It was noisy. It made dust. Just not for me. If you want to do your shredding yourself, go for it. But what somebody recommended, which it didn't occur to me, is so last year what worked for me when I had some things to shred, mainly from my mother's house when I was helping her declutter her paperwork, is that I looked at my own town and my own county here in PA, and they were having a free shredding event. And so this year I Googled, since the spring, I've Googled like free shredding events in my area, and nothing really came up, and the one that came up I had already missed because we were away that weekend. So yesterday, and this is a wonderful thing about being on a TikTok Live, is that you may have an idea that might help somebody else, and because we're here, they may be reading the comments, or I may be able to share it and say, hey, everybody. So yesterday somebody reminded me that places like Staples and the UPS store, and it's so funny, I said Kinko's, but it was really the FedEx part of the Kinko's store near me, they do paper shredding. Or they accept paper shredding, and then they put it in like a locked thing from like, not waste, it might be Waste Management or Iron Mountain, someplace like that, at least around us. And while you pay for it, you pay by the pound, it's an easy way to just get the stuff done. So what we ended up doing yesterday is we took the paperwork that we had, and this was a lot. This was like 6 or 7 bags, heavy bags of paperwork that had been accumulated literally for, I say over a year in my house, but some of it was 30 plus 40, 50 years old from my mother's house. And we paid them some money, and now it is being shredded. Now I don't have those junky bags in the basement, and it's one less thing to have to worry about. So yes, I paid some money for it, but it was nice to just get it done quickly. So sometimes you pay for the convenience of getting somewhere sooner rather than later. I could have hung on to that paperwork and waited till it was free. That also would have been fine, but I just kind of wanted to get it done. It reminds me actually of like paying for coaching, paid, like I do one-on-one coaching that's paid, and like you pay for it and you get to where you want to go to sooner because you have accountability, you have structure, you have a friend hanging out with you. But it also reminds me of like when you pay a toll on a toll road to get somewhere faster than if you took the sideways, you know? Oh, interesting. Mosey says they also have paper burning places where you bring the bags and watch it get burned. I don't know if they have those around us. However, that sounds like a cool thing. Now, the neat thing is, yeah, shredding sentimental stuff. Mom kept notes about Dad when he was sick and wrote everything down. Now, the funny thing is that probably helped your mom at the time, but right now for you, it's doing you no good, except for when it just reminds you of your dad being sick. Yeah. So notice what you keep and why you keep it. Just get curious. Notice it. You may not even notice. Why did I keep that? Oh, it reminded me of a good time. You know, I actually have. It's really sad. I think about this. One of the things I've kept, and it just sprung to mind, so I'll share it. It's probably in my box from literally 1986. And it was a little piece of cardboard where, this is a sad story, but I'll share it anyway because I started it. It was a little piece of cardboard that I had that I came home from being out for a day. I was, young, living with my parents, and there was all these messages about people calling me on the phone. So I thought, oh, wow, this is cool. Everybody's calling me. Well, sadly, it was because it was to tell me a dear friend of mine had passed away in a car accident. So those are the kind of things that you could save that, but it might remind you of something sad. To me, there's enough stuff to keep you sad in the world. You don't need to add to that pile. So what I consciously started doing was saving things that reminded me of things that felt good. A nice note from somebody, a congratulations note, a thank you note, a piece of paper that reminded me of places that I went. And so for the past literally 20 plus years, actually I stand corrected. I feel like I got inspired to do this more organizedly, but I save paper that reminds me of good stuff. I don't mind doing it, and I don't mind sharing that as a decluttering life coach, that I too save sentimental items. Now here, let me back it up a little bit. So Kim, okay, hey Kim, nice to see you. I'm nervous that it will never get shredded and confidential info will be floating around there. Okay, here's the deal. What I did yesterday was I sat on the phone. I didn't sit on it. I sat on my chair, and I called them up and I said, can you explain the process to me? And what they said was, and this is the thing, where at a certain amount of time, you just got to trust. So two things. One is that they said that they put it in a sealed, locked bin, and that every week they come to pick it up and they shred it. Now, I choose to believe. That's one of my sayings. So Kim, I'll share it with you. I choose to believe that they're going to do what they say. The other thing too is we get so concerned about our personal information floating around in paper. Oh my God, you guys. The amount of personal information that is out there for us on the internet is comical. How much of our personal info is out there that we could possibly do something about, but it's out there and it spreads and it doesn't go away. I say this because I had an experience where my mother had signed up for something because she was curious about how much a house got sold down the street from her or what they were doing with it and yada yada. And so she signed up for this thing. Now, I helped my mother with her paperwork. So I noticed this and I said, hey, did you make this charge? She said, yep, I did. I said, cool. Just wanted to make sure you're not getting scammed. But then she didn't realize that it was a recurring kind of, how they get you on a subscription? So when I saw the subscription, again, I called her up and I was like, Ma, did you want this to be a subscription or was this to you a one and done? And she said, oh, no, I thought all I had to do was pay $1. And it was like, well, you did. But then the fine print said it was, $20 a month. So I said, well, I'll call and get it canceled for you. But in the meantime, I took a look at my own self in this thing that has all the info. Oh my goodness. How much we paid for my house, when I got, when I graduated high school, all this information is out there already. Now, I don't say that to freak you out, but notice that if people really want to find your stuff, they will find a way. If the shredding and stuff like that, so find a way that feels good to you to get the stuff shredded. If it makes it feel good, Kim, to shred it yourself, then do it yourself. I have also gone to things where you pull up and they actually take the stuff and put it in the shredder right there. So notice these things. And choose the thought that feels better to you. Now, I thought I saw Carla. Nice. to see you. Carla says, I thought of you yesterday. A friend said, why not set up a booth to sell some of your mom's stuff? It's because your friend doesn't know all the steps that it takes to do that, right? I literally said, oh my gosh, no, thank you. Yeah. So I share this with you all. There are many, many, many ways you can remove the stuff you don't want from your house. Finding a way, discovering a way that feels good and easy to you is going to be the key to getting it out sooner rather than later. I used to hang on to things a lot to sell them. I do not enjoy the process of selling the things, and to me, whatever money I would make does not pay for the hours it would take me to prep to get things done. I also like the feeling of being generous and being like a philanthropist at my modest level. And so I have things that I like to share for free with people. So what do? Some things I donate to a thrift store. Other things I give to friends that expressed interest. Today, as I mentioned, we have some big shelves that we're not using in the basement because we don't need more excuses to store things. We actually need fewer reasons to store things. So we have some big shelves from the basement that we're going to put on our lawn with a free sign. And it being a Saturday, somebody inevitably who wants them is going to come and get them. You know? So I love it. Hey, you know what's? It's me, Deb. You know what's really weird? This is crazy. So, hey, Deb. This is really strange. This is where the universe works in weird ways. It's me, Deb says, one of my besties, Kim, passed away in 886. I don't know what month it was. I don't know what month it was. I could probably look back, but my friend who passed away when she was 18 in an accident, her name was Kim as well. So I don't know if it was Kim from Douglas, Massachusetts, who was your friend. She might have been we could have been friends with the same person. The universe works in mysterious ways, you know? So just notice the world is a mysterious place, you know? Yeah, it's me, Deb. My ex-husband's stuff still shows up on my things occasionally. It's like, wait a minute, what? Like, that was not even a chapter of my life. That was another edition of my life. Like, if my life is like the Encyclopedia Britannica, that's back in like the ABCD era, and I'm in my like an LMNOP era. You know? Yeah, I love it. Krista is putting some free stuff in the yard today. Cat Mama says, I won't shred without reading it first. Notice what you're doing. Like, I glance at the stuff, and a lot of the stuff my mom had was a lot of bills and a lot of, she was still getting her monthly statements from like her Morgan Stanley account. And so I was like, that's personal, that's information that somebody could look at. So that's the stuff. Then we got her digital. Okay, Ridley Park. Oh, Ridley Park. Oh, that's Delco, right? Because I'm in Chester County. I'm at Phoenixville. So, Deb, there we go. Go Birds, I believe you say? No, I have been in PA for almost 20 years, but I'm not a huge sports fan, but I do love living in Pennsylvania. Living in America. Ch-ch-ch-ch. So, yeah, go Birds. Actually, the other day, I will share with you, Deb. Sorry, Deb and I are having a bit of a personal conversation here because we're both here from PA. Notice, and so yesterday, earlier this week, when I went and dropped the stuff at the Goodwill, I then went to the Wawa and got a hoagie. I got an Italian hoagie at the Wawa. So there you go. Okay. So good morning, everybody. I see people are tuning in. This is a bit early for me. I will share this. If I did not have something planned at 10 o'clock that I promised to be at and paid for, that's how I show up. If I promise to do something for somebody else or that I paid for it for me, it increases it. So I showed up at 8 o'clock this morning. So it's a bit early. You might be like wiping the sleep out of your eyes and grabbing your coffee. There we go. PK says I'm OGPA, but in DE now. I lived in PA. Kim Jenner says go Vikings. Love it. I used to live in Delaware for a couple of years myself. PK down in Rehoboth. That's where my husband's from. You probably know him because we joke about the fact that there was a 1 degree of separation in Delaware. So good morning, everybody. Does anybody have any decluttering plans for the day? I have a few myself, but I also have some plans for fun. So if you have decluttering plans and you want some help with it or there's something you're stuck with, put it in the comments, you know? Mother of Three Pearls has been up since 6 a.m. Yeah, I wake up pretty early now too. So I was up for a little while. I went back to sleep, and then I did Probably what you're doing right now, which is scrolling on TikTok. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, oh, you're in Lewis. Oh, nice, Brittany, you're in Lewis. My husband was just in, my husband's a musician, so I mentioned this. My husband was down in Lewis last week. We live near a hospital, so sometimes you hear the ambulances. My husband was in Lewis on Tuesday. He was performing on the Lewis, what is it they call it? There's a sunset cruise. And tonight he's doing something at, what is that place? It's got like the place with the Futuro house. Not Eagle Crest. Eagle Crest maybe. There's a filming, there's a Goonies thing going on. Our friend Rob Waters, who does videos down there in Lewis, is putting something on at Hudson Fields, I think. I don't know, small. Look at us. We're just chatting like we're sitting there at the coffee shop about getting to know you. You know. Hey, good morning, Christina Glendale. Filing binders and finishing your paper clutter. Rock. Oceana has some decluttering. Okay, here we go. My okay, now we got the good stuff. See, I love to chat, but man, do I like to get into the good things. So I will try to I will try to give some quick but nutritional answers in order here. So it's me, Deb says, my death pile. I'm a part-time reseller. Okay, so notice there are things, first of all, death pile, that you don't necessarily enjoy the reselling. I would start with this because I used to sell things. Start with the stuff that's going to make you the most money. Look, and this is a strategy everybody can use, and this is categorizing. Categorizing your stuff is looking at a lot of your stuff and pulling out categories. So it's me, Deb. How about today for you? You look at the pile of your death pile, but look at it as your life pile. Which one is going to give me the most money here? And why not, if you're going to part-time resell some of this stuff, start with the stuff that's going to make you the most money. I used to sell stuff in person, online, all the time. eBay, I was an early adopter on eBay because back literally 25 years ago plus, because I was a collector and I used to go, and so that was a thing. What I realized very quickly, and I would still do it for the first 10 years after that, it really does take you the same amount of time, roughly, to list an item that costs you $5. It takes you the same amount of time to list a thing that costs $500. So notice where you're spending your time and try to get the biggest bang for your buck. Okay, so try that. Now, Fiery Angel has too many clothes and I don't know where to start. So how about this? Categorizing is a really good thing. Look at your clothes. You have too many. How about this? How about pulling out the stuff that you cut? I do not recommend pulling everything out and cleaning out the whole room. No. I know for my nervous system that gets me overwhelmed. That gets me shutting down before I've even started because it just reminds me of the overwhelm. So I say pull out a category at a time. So here's where you can use the traffic signal in your body. Your green light, which is the stuff you love, the red light, which is the stuff you want to get rid of, like poop, and the yellow stuff is in the middle. So don't even worry about the yellow stuff right now. So how about this? You look at your clothes, focus on the good stuff first. Say, Fiery Angel, what are the clothes? And here's when I say the good stuff. What are the clothes you currently enjoy wearing on your body now, your current body? Not stuff that you used to fit into and you're afraid you're going to fit in, but pull out, categorize. And you don't even need to pull it out. If you're working you could pull out some of it. So pull out the clothes you do love. Put those on the bed. Say, I'm going to keep these, and be like, yay, now you have more room to sort through the other stuff. Then go to the other side. What are clothes that I really don't like anymore, and I'm cool with not fitting into these or not wearing these again, that they just didn't work out. Then take those, put them in a donation bag. Then what you're going to be left with is even more room in your closet. And then you'll notice the stuff that's the yellow, the stuff that you're like, I don't know if I like it or not. It tells me a story. That is going to be the stuff that's going to take you some time. But immediately what you've already done, though, is already identified 2 categories. So some of that yellow stuff, is it red or is it green? Is it stuff I want to, oftentimes I'll share this secret with you guys. The more I coach, the more I discover. The clutter is the stuff we don't want, but we're afraid to get rid of. Clutter, the stuff that you stick with that you don't really like, but you're afraid to get rid of it. So just notice that. No, mother of three pearls decluttered the medicine cabinet. I love it. I love, Reese is asking, and this is probably kind of a similar thing, tips for decluttering makeup. I have so much. Third verse, same as the first. I'm Henry the Eighth, I am. Third verse, same as the first. Tips for decluttering makeup, categories. Immediately, Reese, you know what you wear on a daily basis. You know your kind of everyday makeup, right? So put that aside. This is the stuff I already know I wear. I'm good with this. Then what you do is you look at the stuff you don't wear. Now, one interesting thing about makeup is, depending upon how old it is, it will degrade on you. Have you ever kept a lipstick for a while and you go to use it and it kind of gets crumbly, or the oils in it turn and they get a bit rancid and it smells weird and it's crumbly and, you know, it doesn't flow as nicely, or you have a lotion that kind of gets clumpy? We think when we buy some stuff, it doesn't. So here's the thing. I'm going to bet that after you pull out the stuff you do use, now we're talking specifically about clutter, but about makeup, but this can help with everything. After you pull out the stuff you do use on a daily basis, the clothes you do wear, the makeup you do use, what you're going to find is you probably spent money on stuff that after you paid your money, it didn't work out for you. Or, so for example, I've done that before. Well, I'll go buy a lipstick and then I get home and I'm like, oh, I don't really like this. Like sometimes it's in the plastic container and you don't know that it feels greasy or it's slimy or it said it was going to be long lasting, but the lipstick marks go on your mugs and I hate those. So you're going to notice, oh man, I just paid like $8 for this. And so part of me could be like, well, maybe I'll use it someday. Be cool with it. If it doesn't work for you now, it's probably not going to work for you in the future. Get comfortable with that idea. The bigger idea that we can all get comfortable with, honestly, you guys, is you have in the past spent time and money on things that didn't work out. I bet you have a list. I bet if I sat down and said, make a list of things that you spent money on, spent time on. First marriages, anybody? I kid. You spent time and money on things that just didn't work out. Know that happened, and it's part of life. Know that it's going to happen. It probably has happened in your near future. I bought this really expensive lipstick, and it doesn't work. The color's wrong, the whatever's wrong. But I paid a lot for it, so I feel uncomfortable. I feel tension about throwing it away. Notice that tension is between it doesn't work, but I'm afraid to give it away or throw it away, whatever. That's the tension that clutter brings to your life. The cool thing is if you notice that and you can release that tension and say, you know what, just going to let it go, you've resolved the tension because you've let go of, this is me, you know, if I was at my desk, I have this little rope that I pulled actually out of the little pulley thing right here. You know, you've got tension. I don't want it, but I feel bad getting rid of it. If you finally let go of that expectation that you're going to use it someday, you let go of it, and then it's easy to do something with it. There's no longer tension between 2 points because you've let go of one of them. So notice that about makeup. Try that. Okay? Carla, yay, I am glad to see. I do. I've got a huge box of garbage bags and I'm cleaning out a kitchen. I love it. Notice the kitchen. Notice where you said, what's going to be important to me if I move here? It was the kitchen. I love it. German Maid is packing up clothes. These things could be inspirational to anybody, maybe myself. I'm packing up clothes I'm not wearing to send to my daughter. Then I'm taking boxes to donate. Awesome. Patty's in Bridgeport. Hey, I used to work in KOP. I love it. Patty, I used to work in KOP, and I actually would take some line dancing classes at the Holy Savior in Norristown. So we are neighbors. Hey, neighbor. All right. Patty's up early in the morning decluttering. Lisa is saying, donated boxes of nice clothes to a thrift shop who helps support communities because she had lost 60 pounds. I love it. Good stuff, people. Ooh, I missed a bunch of stuff. Here we go. Let me back it up. Back it up. Here we go. See, here's what happens. Just so you guys know, on my end, you guys may see a constant scroll of comments. Sometimes when I stop to talk, the comments build up, and then when I go to move them forward, they don't just go in a nice, slow way. They go zoop all the way to the bottom, so I need to back up, okay? So what do we got going here? Oh, there we go. Brittany's right down from Hudson Fields. Awesome. Love it. This is I got this in Rehoboth. It's actually a really crappy sweatshirt. I will share this with you guys. When this season is over, you will not be seeing me wearing the sweatshirt. Look at how it pills. Look at how poorly they put this thing here. I bought it because I was cold. Sometimes we buy things to solve a problem. I was freezing cold on the boardwalk, and I needed a sweatshirt because we were going to spend the whole night in Rehoboth Beach and Dewey. So I bought it, and it looked good, but it didn't work out. Look at these pills. I might shave them, but it might pill again. It's going to happen to you. Get used to it. Okay? I love it. What we get? Okay, there we go. Mother of Pearl's been emptying all the random shopping bags in my house. Yes. Notice what I said earlier about us getting rid of shelves in the basement. Having places to hide and store things allows you to mistakenly think you're doing something about your clutter, but you're really just avoiding deciding if you want it or not. So having bags in your house that give you a place to put it, also allows you to easily avoid making the decisions if you want it or not. You know? Kim is going. I love it. Kim's going to work on her parents' stuff in her garage. Love it. Very cool. I love it. Cat Mama's going into the cellar. I love that New England word because I will be in the cellar and the attic of my mother's house in just a couple of weeks, and she's up in Massachusetts. Back cellar for me to get the stuff together for Goodwill. There we go. Okay. So Danette Marsh is a mother of 6 kids and hold their stuff they made in their schoolwork aged from 3 years old to 27 years. Now, Danette, this is sentimental stuff, okay? So just so you know, when you're dealing with clutter, that is one of the deepest things of clutter, which is sentimental clutter. Notice where my hand goes when I talk about sentimental clutter. And notice that I realize I don't have my wedding ring on. It has nothing. I just realized I get contact dermatitis, but I'm like, oh, I got to put my rings on. Anyhow, to back it up, sentimental is here. Then you've got stored clutter. Now, the stored clutter is part of what your surface clutter is. Surface, sentimental, and stored. So notice what you're asking about is one of the things that takes everybody the most trouble to decide what to do with. But I will help you with that. But just notice that you may have surface clutter and stored clutter that you can also work on. But when you save things for sentimental reasons, who are you saving them for? Initially, we might save them for other people. I will use myself as an example. I save things for me, but also thinking someday I would like to walk somebody down memory lane, my nieces or my nephew, or maybe their kids, to say, this is what Auntie Beth's life was like. Here's a ticket stub from when I went and saw the Smiths. This is the time that we went to and Uncle Cliff played in the Hamptons at the Stephen Talk House. Here's the thing. Here's the lineup of the day that I met Uncle Cliff when we were out in L.A. I save sentimental things to tell a story. They tell a story to me, but I may also be saving them for somebody else. So think of yourself first. First of all, I guess I would say this. If you're saving things that were your kids' stuff, they are things of theirs in a way. Now, these things tell a story of their life. You may be saving them for them, so ask them if they still want them. Are they old enough that they maybe want them for their own kids to see what they did, or do they not want them? Here's a really important thing. If you are saving anything for any other person other than yourself, ask them now if they want it, and if they feel comfortable with you enough to say, no, thank you, I don't, do not guilt them into keeping it. You know what it's like to feel guilted into keeping something. Guilt is not a good reason to keep something. Guilt is a crappy feeling. Every time you see something that you save because it's guilt, you feel guilt. Who wants to feel guilt all the time? Don't guilt somebody into something that they don't want. Say, thank you for letting me know. Now I can do something else with this thing. If they say, I don't know, remind them. Make it a safe space for them to say okay to say no. But if they haven't decided yet, then maybe you could say, okay, well, here, why don't I give it to you and you can keep it in your house, and when you decide if you want it or not. Or if you want to be nice and say, okay, I'm keeping it in my house for you, but I'll keep it for you for the next year, and then you can make a decision. But notice why you're keeping it and who you're keeping it for. Okay? So when you start to reflect, take a U-turn, saving it for them, but it's really about me. What do I want to happen with this stuff? If they say yes, if they say no. Now, Christy Peterson MC says, how do you store all your purses? Depends on how many purses you have. Now, I'll be honest with you. I will say, how many purses do you really need? Because I am not a professional organizer primarily. What I would say to you is how many of these purses do you really want or need or use? And then if you are cool with the quantity of purses you have, then there are storage solutions for those. But I am a decluttering person because to me the clutter is the stuff that doesn't add value to your life. The clutter is your stuff you don't want. So before I ever say storing stuff, you got to sort it before you store it, is one of my many mantras, okay? And then when you decide that you're cool with the amount, I don't even carry a purse anymore, you guys. Everything I have is on my phone. I have a couple of really tiny purses from when we go out in case I'm wearing something that doesn't have pockets. But I wear things with pockets all the time, and my credit card and my license are in a little thing on my phone. Now, okay. Now, Belt Loop says, I have 5 crates full of craft items that I don't know what to do with. Nobody wants. Now, how do you know nobody wants them? Maybe the people you know you asked if they want them don't want them. But there's a world out there. My neighbor, Janae, granted, she's moved right now. She makes wreaths. If we lived near each other, she might want them. You don't know who's out there who may want what you have. That's why thrift stores are a wonderful meeting place. Because it's the people who have stuff that they don't want anymore and the people who want stuff that they can't afford to pay full price. I say Belt Loop, donate them to a thrift store. You don't need to know who the end result is. This is my phrase. I want to share it with you. I choose to believe that when I choose to believe, ... I choose to believe that when I donate something, that somebody is going to get so excited to find it. And I know this happens because most of my house is decorated, and a lot of my stuff is stuff I got out of thrift stores myself. So I have been on the receiving end of somebody donating something that they didn't want, but man, was I excited to get it. Okay. Kim says, I focus on one drawer at a time, and it helps me to avoid getting overwhelmed. Yes. Now, Kim, I love this, the whole chunk it down. Don't do all sorts of stuff, just chunking it down. But notice, you can't effectively store something unless you know how much stuff you have and how many things you're ultimately wanting to keep. It's like saying, I have 10,000 books in my house. How do I store 10,000 books? Well, you would buy more storage. But then, really, saying to yourself before you do that is saying, do I read all these books? Am I going to read it? Have I read it? And saying, no, you know what? I already read that. Maybe I can get rid of it. Maybe then you've knocked down the amount of books you have to 500 books. So maybe then you really need a bookcase that only holds 500 books. There's a certain order of operations that allows you to do these things. So don't try to store things before you've sorted them. You're just going to get into frustration mode. Does this sound familiar? You have a lot of containers in your house because you bought the container thinking the container was going to solve your problem. The container comes after you have dealt with what's in here, which is, do I want it or not? Okay. Now, I love this. Debonair River says, best ever time spent was to hang my clothes as complete outfits. I have about 50 in the rotation. So think about that. 50 items in rotation. That means you can get dressed for a month and a half, or even more than a month and a half without ever wearing without ever repeating an outfit, and without ever doing laundry. And then 50, 365, 360, that's a 7. You own, look at how easy that can be. Oops, sorry. Hey, Christine, I saw you. I hit the button. No, cancel. Hit the wrong button. Maybe it'll disappear. Okay, somebody, I think, said something. It's being hidden by this thing because I hit the wrong button. And now it's up above, and I can't move it. Here, Christine, we know who we are. I'm going to follow you back. I'm going to see if that helps me. Okay, move your thing. All right, we'll figure it out. We're not going to touch it. I may not see some comments for a while. Somebody said sentimental clothing. How do I get rid of sentimental clothing? Notice clothing can live in two worlds. It can be purely functional. I am covering my naked body. But also it can be personal. Look at look at this sweatshirt. I bought it in Rehoboth. It's keeping me warm right now. Notice that you have the clothing and you have the story. Okay? Now, notice too that you had the clothing. The clothing existed before the story. You attached the story to the clothing. Before me, this thing was just hanging on a sweatshirt hook. I have decided to remind myself where I got that, and that might help me keep it, or it might help me make it easy to let it go. Oh, that reminds me of that crappy time I went to the White Mountains with my ex-husband. I don't want to keep that anymore. Or you say, oh my gosh, that's the dress I was wearing when I got engaged. Now, I don't fit in the dress I wore when I got engaged because that was a number of years ago. I probably kept it for a while, but then I let it go because I realized I was never going to wear it again. Okay? Let me see if I can do this. Mute, block, add moderator. I'm going to see if I can mute. Okay, Christine, all these things, I'm going to mute you for 5 seconds to see if I can disappear you. Okay. All right, come on. All right, you guys. We're going to have to roll with it, okay? It's going to go wacky until I can see the comments going through because there's something. Oh, how can I do this? This is this is where if you were watching TV back in the day, it would be like, stand by, we're experiencing technical difficulties. Okay? Let me see. Okay, oh, there we go. Let me see if I can do this. I think I got it done here. Okay. Okay, here we go. I'm going to send there. Let's send you a no. Okay, now I got it. I'm backing up. Okay. Somebody got purse dividers. Take a picture of the sentimental items. You still have the memory. Yeah. Okay, here we go. I'm backing up. Now we got it. Okay, nice nurse. Oh, how I need you. Here I am. My name is Beth. I show up as Destination Decluttered here on YouTube, or excuse me, on TikTok pretty much every day except for when I'm traveling. I do a TikTok live. If you want to know when I'm showing up so you can look forward and kind of tune in from the beginning, maybe you just stumbled upon me now, get on my mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com. Sign up for the mailing list. You automatically get access to the schedule of my TikTok lives, and I have them scheduled well into at least the first week of September, okay? So I also do one-on-one paid coaching. I coach people on Zoom for decluttering, so if you're interested in that, you can also find out information about it on my website. Okay? Yeah, so Pebbles, notice, I always think I can get back into those clothes from when I was 30, but I am 65. Yeah, getting cool with who you are. This is why I'm a decluttering life coach. It's not just like, well, just decide, just know you're not going to fit into it. Like, no, I take into account your heart, your feelings. And I say, I get that. I get that. My body has changed since I've turned in my 50s, and it's not going back. Talk about we will not go back. We're not going back. Sadly, I'm not going back to being a size 6. But I'm okay with that because I love the life I'm moving forward with. Also, there are certain things we can't do. We can work so hard to change our bodies. If you want to do that, that's fine. But notice, you're 65 and you're still not fitting into the clothes who you were at 30. That's okay. Think about when you were 30. If you said, man, I really wish I could fit into the clothes I wore when I was 5. Your body grew and changed between 5 and 30. Your body grew and changed between 30 and 65. Learning that your body is going to grow and change, or even just change, maybe not grow, but change. And getting cool with that, being like, okay, I love myself the way I am, and it is okay that I do not fit into my clothes that I wore when I was 30. They're probably out of style now for me anyway, and if I donate them, they're probably vintage for some really cute little kids who are going to look so freaking adorable in their vintage clothing that I remember wearing when I was 30. Okay? So, but notice that. I think I can get back into those clothes, but currently you're not. But when I realize I'm not, I feel sad. So they say, oh, don't feel bad. Maybe one day I'll fit into it. Your head and your heart have a lot to do with what you do with your hands, whether you hang on to something or whether you let it go. Okay. So I am back up. There we go. Strong Silver Soul Sister. Somebody was asking about makeup before. Mix your lipsticks. Okay, I'm backing up. I think I missed up. Not adding to the landfill is more of an issue of not buying into the first place. But Chris Peterson, MC, I got to share with you. Everything on the planet is going to go somewhere. Nothing truly disappears. It always goes somewhere. So the best thing we could do, honestly, if you think about it, if you pull back, is to decrease your consumption of things, so then they don't make as many things, so that we stop it back then. But I will say this: a lot of people say, "Well, I feel bad throwing it into a dumpster or a landfill, so I keep it in my house." But keeping it in your house turns your house into a dumpster or a landfill. You're surrounded by stuff that doesn't make you feel good. And I will say this: sadly, when you die, this stuff is going to go into a dumpster or a landfill. I know my stuff will probably too. Even stuff that people take from my house when I die, after they die, it might go into a dumpster or a landfill. So when you realize that and can kind of reconcile it and be like, you know what? I don't want to say, you know what? You're right. Do you want to spend your precious time on this earth living in a dumpster, living in a landfill? It's just a matter of semantics. It's staying here on the planet in point A, your house, or it's staying in the planet in point B, in a landfill. I know this sounds really matter of fact and straightforward, but I don't want you living in a landfill, because when you don't feel good in your surroundings, you're not doing good for yourself and for anybody else. Okay? Alrighty. Mother of three pearls, drop must boss storage. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, Carla. Uh-huh. If it doesn't work now, it won't work later. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Water damage to the basement. Gosh, I've seen Cat Mama, I know you're in Connecticut. Some of those houses where the water's going through, I looked it on the map, Oxford. Water damage to the basement cabinets is forcing me to go through my old toys today. But notice this forcing of it. Notice there's an external thing happening that is causing you to do this. And notice that if the water gets in there, it may have ruined some of your toys. Don't wait for something tragic like that to start you going through your stuff. Because you may go through and say, man, I wish I had done this sooner, because I would have been able to put this somewhere else where it maybe not got water damaged. Notice these things. This is very cute. I just caught up. So Carla and I work together as one-on-one clients. I'm in Pennsylvania. She's in Alabama. This is how I work. I work with clients all over the country. And Carla, I just read it. She says, not a paid for endorsement, but you can't imagine how one-on-one coaching will change your world. Aw, hon. Thank you very much. I will share with everybody. I would not do one-on-one coaching if I didn't so thoroughly enjoy it and so thoroughly know that I can help you with your clutter. Now, I say that as a general thing. Your specific clutter, that's why we do a consultation, to make sure that what you're struggling with is what I can help you with. Now, this is really to just make sure that things are not at that hoarder level that is above my expertise and training, because at a certain point, hoarding, and it's so funny, I will share with you, I saw a TikTok of somebody talking about the 5 stages of hoarding, and I was like, I think I don't work with hoarders. I'm like, the hoarding level was like, oh, if you keep piles of paper on all over the place, you're a hoarder. And I'm like, okay, guilty as charged. I work with hoarders, but there's a certain level that I know is more mental than mental health requirement than me. That's 92% of the people I meet on consultations are people I don't think I can help. So if you think I can help you and you want paid one-on-one coaching on Zoom, so I don't come to your house, you can hide anything you want. It's very safe. We work at a pace that works for you. Hop onto my mailing list. Go to destinationdecluttered. Actually, definitely hop onto my mailing list right now at destinationdecluttered.com, because currently I have so many consultations on my calendar that there are no more available free ones to the public. I say this because also I am one person. I don't outsource my coaching to anybody else. It's just me, like you and me right here, like it has been for the past 50 minutes. The people on my mailing list will always get first dibs on me. So they get first dibs. So if you want first dibs, that's what we used to call it when we were kids. DestinationDecluttered.com, sign up for the mailing list. It's free. We do a lot of cool things. They know when I'm going to show up tomorrow, what time. Oops, I just told you. Actually, it was going to be a pop-up. I am going to show up and do a TikTok live tomorrow, but today I'm going to decide when I show up, and I'm going to update the schedule so they know. All right? So, I'm scrolling, I'm trying not to hit things. Okay. All right, my younger sister and I have a very toxic relationship. Unfortunately, she threw away my childhood. We no longer speak. Yeah, notice you decluttered your sister from your life. It happens. I bought purse dividers. My stepson told his dad he wants to save things, but his wife a minimalist. She doesn't want extra things. Okay, that's got to be between your stepson and his wife. Yeah, I mean, if he's like, I want to save my things, And maybe he's using kind of good cop, bad cop. Maybe he doesn't want to tell his dad he doesn't want the things. There's so many dynamics in it. But honor what they say. But also, like, I say this mainly because when I show up on these TikTok lives, no offense, I don't care about your stepson. I don't care about your husband. I don't care about your sister or your daughter. I care about you. I care about you. So if you have somebody else's stuff in your house, how do you feel about it? If you're cool with it, it isn't a problem. But if it bugs you, that's when I want to help you. I love it. Go Veg is saying, free cycle is a great way to give things away. Give things away to a senior center. Buy nothing groups. Donated craft supplies to senior centers. Yep. Accordion racks for purses. See, all sorts of good things. I hope y'all are reading these things. I am going to, because I'm only here for 9 minutes and I missed a bunch of these things. I'm going to scroll and kind of pick and choose the good ones that have some like meat on the bones. I'm going through the buffet of comments and I'm going to pick out the most nutritional ones that will benefit us all. Go Veg lives in Rehoboth. There you go. Love it. Go Reho. All right. I keep on holding on to the, I'm going to learn how to crochet. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Nice Nurse says she's the best and consultations are free. Kathleen says, what do you do with your kids' trophies? You give them to your kids. You teach your kids how to declutter. Okay? You teach your kids how to declutter. You don't solve the problems for everybody. Share the knowledge you have. When I teach you how to declutter, I want you to share this knowledge with other people around you. You shouldn't be always the decision maker for other people, because if you do that, it's like driving somebody somewhere and they never learn how to drive. Decluttering is a life skill, the way I think of it. You know? Yeah. Erin says, ask your kids if they want them at their own houses. And don't be the repository of everybody else's stuff. Say to them, I love you, but this is your stuff. Deal with it. But if you don't know how to deal with it, then they probably don't because you raised them. So just notice these things. Okay? So I'm going to back up a little bit, but that was the one that popped up. What else do we got here? Okay, I look like I'm catching up. Yay, good stuff, people. Crocheted bunches of blankets and scarves. So younger I still have them, but I don't do it anymore. Now, Cat Mama, this is a really good thing to remind yourself of too. People, your life is a book from beginning to end, from birth to death. And within the two ends of those books are chapters. There are chapters of your life where you do things, and there are chapters of your life when you say, I did that back then, I don't do it now. This is how we evolve. This is how we change. This is how we bring joy to our lives. Like, I enjoyed doing that now, but then the joy went out of it. I'm kind of done. I'm done with the crocheting. Honor the fact that you're not the person you were back in the day. Love that person. I love who I was back then, but I love who I am now, and I don't feel like spending my time doing the things that I did before. They no longer bring me the joy that they once did. I want to do other things now that bring me joy. Be cool with that. And notice the trappings you have. And notice what we say, the trappings, the things that trap you into being the person you used to be. I will share this. When I coach, I take all of these things into consideration. I look around my house now and I see evidence of who I used to be. I see evidence of the things that were important to me. But I also see evidence of the things that are important to me now. And you know what's important to me now? Is free space in my suitcase. Because I want to go and see the world. I don't want to be trapped. But when I come back here, I want to be able to feel like I'm also going to a fun, relaxing Airbnb place. Like, oh, I love hanging out here. It's so cool. You know? That's how I want to feel at my own house. So I'm not actively then cluttering it up with more stuff, because when I go to really cool hotels or Airbnbs, I love that feeling of space and quiet and simplicity. And not just quiet here, but quiet here. This is nice and relaxing. I want my house to be nice and calm and relaxing. So sure, I have evidence of who I used to be and all sorts of fun clutter of when I was a collector, but I'm not collecting anymore, and that's okay. Now that said, it just occurred to me today, something I could do for fun is I could drive out to Morgantown, PA, and go to the Mad Hatter. I always like going there. And if I see something I truly, truly, truly like, or that would solve a problem, maybe I buy it. But I don't mind going places and just looking. I appreciate things, but I don't need to own them for myself. Okay? So just notice these things. Yay! I love it when my clients show up and give me a little cheerleader. Yeah, isn't it funny? Just discovered a cabinet in the garage with only over 50 manuals my husband saved. Notice how we save these things and we think we're going to use them. Do we actually use them though? No, we probably looked up these things on the internet, you know? Alrighty. So, there we go. Water damage in the basement. Don't wait until something tragic happens. Don't wait until a water damage or death before you go through your stuff. This is going to sound really morbid, but like I am going through family photos this week, starting today. I signed up for Ancestry yesterday. You know why I do this? Because it's something I've been meaning to do, and a cousin of mine passed. I'm going to her funeral in a couple of weeks, and I want to get the family tree up to date so everybody has access to the information that I currently know. Some of that information is only written down in my life. I am using her funeral as a motivator to get things done that I've been dragging my feet on. But also, frankly, this is the morbid part, but hear me out. When I go through family photos and I find photos of myself, I am going to start an envelope of what are the photos that I want to be shown when on the slideshow when I pass away. What are photos that I feel like I look good in? That is a category of photo. If you do that now, then you're feeling good about when you're dead, and the pictures are there. But then also you're making it easier for the folks that have to put these things together while they're also going through the grief. Okay? So I say this because start sooner rather than later. Oh, Christina, I love this. I love how see, here's the really cool thing. When I coach people, whether we're currently coaching, we coached in the past, you're always in my hearts and in my lives. I smile when I see it. I smile when I see your names. And Christina is saying, you have changed my life. I can hear my voice now and handle my clutter. Yeah, when you first declutter with me, what you hear is probably my words and my voice. But just like practicing something, my voice will quiet down and you'll start to hear these things in your own voice. Oh, hey, Carla, good to know. So Carla says, full disclosure, I am on my second package and hoping to sign on for a third. That is good to know because I will keep that space free for you. I always hold space for my clients. And I say this to you because I don't mean to end this in a commercial, but it's really good information to know that there's help out there that's helping other people, that it could help you too. So I will explain to you a lot of the stuff that I say on my consultations so you know what you're getting into. My paid coaching is a 10-session program. Now I do this to chunk it down. I have heard other coaches do a 6-month thing. That overwhelms me. Oh my God, I'm going to have to be in coaching for 6 months? That seems overwhelming. But I want you to feel good about what you do. So sometimes 10 sessions is just right for somebody for many reasons. Cool. Yay for you. I feel good about that. Other times people say, I love what we've done in 10 and I want to do another 10. Also cool. When you feel like you want to do it and you want to move forward, awesome. I have people who are on their 5th and 6th package. But doing it organically and allowing yourself to feel like it's not right for me to sign off, but then I feel like at the end of this one, it's going to be the right amount. I want to give you control over how long we work together at a pace that feels right to you. Now it's paid coaching, and in this past year, yes, my rates will never go down. They will only go up. And I say this as a good thing because when you sign on for me, you're grandmothered in at whatever pace, at whatever rate you had. If you ever decide to come back to me and do coaching, you leave for a while, I look up, I see what I charge you that same amount, regardless of what the current price is, to make you feel more confident and easier and more safe in your nervous system about signing up. And we work on Zoom, so you're at your house, I'm at my house. We pick a day and a time that works for you. If you need to change it, we change it. We show up every week and you get accountability, you get structure, you get friendship, you get encouragement, you get somebody on your side, and I know what the F I'm doing. I am like my friend Austin, who runs these guided tours from Chicago to LA, these Route 66 tours. I am like him. I have been down this road many times. I know where the fun places are to stop. I know when it gets boring. I make the boring parts, I make sure we stop at the fun stuff. And I make sure that when it gets boring, we keep it going so we keep on moving forward. I do this all the time. I'm really good at it and I truly enjoy it. The day that I stop enjoying this, is the day that I stop coaching, because I never want to show up in the energy other than excitement and love, and with this confidence in you that if you want this to work for you, it can work for you. Okay? So I say that to you. It's better than therapy. I love it. M. Bob is saying, what city are you in? I'm in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. That doesn't matter because we coach on Zoom. What are you charging? Now, this is where my New England, none of your goddamn business comes in. But I say that I don't talk about numbers right now, and I tell you why. Because I could tell you the number, and your brain might immediately go, oh, that's too much. But you don't even know if it's going to work for you. If you saw what it was, if you saw what coaching, if you learned what coaching could give you, the number of the money number is just something to figure out. I don't want you saying no before you even see if it's going to work for you. I don't want you to be scared off by a number. Now, here's a funny thing. My number is just a number. I feel good about it, so that's what I charge. I have had people say that's way too much. I can't believe you charge that much. And other people say, oh my God, that's such a bargain. Sign me up right now. So that's why I never talk about numbers here, because it gets in the way of you even seeing if what I offer would truly help you. Because if you knew that this could transform your life, change your life for the rest of your life, how much would you pay to spend some time with somebody who can help you change your life for the rest of your days on the planet? When you amortize that out, it's pennies on the dollar, and it is such a good investment. You know? Now, I love this because Christine, best coaching methods can be applied to all areas of your life, truly life-changing. That's why I'm a decluttering life coach. Kim, oh my God, it's like a reunion here. We got Kim, we got Christine, we got Christina, we've got Erin, we've got Carla, all these people. Yes. And Erin says, and she knows what she's talking about, you've probably wasted more money on less stuff, and 2, you are worth the investment. Okay? So just notice that. Ladies, I love that my peeps came out. It's always like a nice reunion to hang out with you all, and to people I haven't met yet. I am signing off right now because I have stuff I want to do on my Saturday, and I know you do too. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. If you like what you hear, sign up for my mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com. That's the first step in getting to be me being your one-on-one coach, because currently I have no openings on my calendar, so you need to sign up in order to be getting first dibs. The other thing too is we do a lot of fun stuff on the mailing list, and like my TikTok page and share it with people that were struggling with clutter. Okay? I love it. Carla asked, yep, I love it. Such a good day, people. Such good stuff. Let's have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow. People on the mailing list know when, and people on, if you want to find out, sign up for the mailing list, okay? I'm going to go. See you later. Bye.